Hey guys, Charles from the Thought Not Seers podcast here with some more Modern. We're playing Thing Ascension in a Modern PTQ, and we're on the play. This is round 3, and yeah, like to play, and hand's definitely keepable. Can't really turn away a hand with a bunch of cantrips. So, for sure, gonna fetch something in Serum Visions, and I think we're just gonna get Steam Vents. It's kind of the default choice. Want to hold that Scalding Tarn in reserve in case we want to fetch up Basic Mountain, and this Flooded Strand in case we need Basic Plains. I like both of these cards, so I'm going to keep them both. Fortunately, I can't actually draw them both because of the fetch lands, but okay. Windswept Heath passed. Our opponent kept 7, so that is interesting. Like, it's kind of interesting for, I mean, maybe it's infect, but it's interesting that they would just pass without having any, having any play. Like, they have 8 1-drops. They have Glistener Elf, and they have Noble Hierarch. Maybe they have, like, a turn 2, Blighted Agent. There's also the possibility that it's like an Obzon Company deck, but without a 1-drop Accelerant? Maybe they have, like, Wall of Roots, I should say. I don't know why I said Wall of Roots. So I guess we'll just get Hallowed Fountain with this one and just play Thing in the Ice. When in doubt, just jam. We can cast 3 spells next turn just off of these cards in hand, and if we draw another cantrip, we can play we can fetch with the Flooded Strand as well. So yeah, I'd like to pay 2 life and pass. Like, this is, in fact, and this gets Twisted Image, though I'll be very annoyed. Okay, so it is infect. So let's Metamorphose, add UU, for these 2 cantrips. Like, what, does he have the Twisted Image now? I guess I actually should have thought of that. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter here because we can't actually defend it with enough instants, but maybe we could have just let off a Sleight of Hand, tried to see what our opponent does, but then he just waits. So I think we just add UU, go Thought Scour ourselves first, because we want to have a little bit more information before we Sleight of Hand. Yeah, so there isn't really much in the way of timing that dictates leaving up Thought Scour, so going Thought Scour first seems correct to me. I guess it's possible that our opponent can kill us next turn, but it's not likely given his mana situation. Okay, let's be very certain to click U and U. Let's scour us. Ooh, Taxing Probe's a good draw. Let's pay life, because it doesn't really matter in this matchup. Oh, he does have the Twisted Image. That's good to know. Luckily for us, it doesn't appear that he has he has what it takes to kill us next turn. Like he has a couple of blighted agents, but that's only +4/+4. Like he can activate attack and hit us for 5 in fact, but then he's kind of all played out there. So let's fetch first. Probably get just another Steam Vents. Yeah, I'd like to pay some life, and let's sleight of hand using that mana. So now he has to go for it, and then we can Thought Scour to just flip our thing in the ice. And to boot, he takes 1 more damage. Yeah, I definitely want Lightning Bolt. I guess next turn we can attack with the Awoken Horror. Try to see what our opponent does. Okay, so he has Blighted Agent, but nothing he can really do to protect it. It's kind of odd that he leaves up Ink Moth here, because he can't really do anything about that. So if we attack, does he block? I'm actually thinking we're fine either way, right? Just attack, he blocks, but then well, he can Mutagenic Growth, which doesn't do anything. Well, I mean, this just makes it easier, because he can't Blossoming Defense his guy. I guess he could have Apostle's Blessing, but we still have the second removal spell. Okay. That made things a lot easier. So yeah, so if he had Blossoming Defense and Apostle's Blessing, then, well, he could just stop us from killing it. Probably still has to chump, but he does have he does have enough to kind of stop us there. Okay, remands are awful in this matchup. Like, your opponent's playing 1 2-mana spell. It's like 1 mana and free spells, and you have this 2-mana situational card in your hand. And I think so. Now I'm considering Anger of the Gods and Young Pyromancer as just ways to finish off the game. I don't think we need more win cons. Actually, no. One thing I actually like doing is just boarding out all the Thing in the Ice in this matchup, because they're going to bring in more copies of Twisted Image. So yeah, boarding them out is definitely correct. So I think we actually want Young Pyromancer, and I'm going to hedge with 1 copy of Anger of the Gods on the draw. Anger can be a little bit slow, but if you can get a 2-for-1 on it, that's usually pretty good. I just don't want 2 copies right now, because we're on the draw, and a 3-mana spell can be a little bit slow. On the play, I think I might board out 1 Pyromancer and bring the second Anger in, because there's more of a chance that our opponent doesn't have as much mana. Sounds interesting. We have a draw step and a Cataxian Probe to find a land. And if we do find a land, then we have a Thought Scour to try finding another, and we do have 2 Lightning Bolts. Put Mulligan to 6. I think we'll try this. I'm not entirely confident, that this is correct, but I think it's definitely worth the risk. Okay, opponent leading on Ink Moth is kind of indicating that he wants to attack with it next turn, or he just doesn't have other lands. Okay. So, interesting. I think he just wants to play out the Spellskite before the Glistener Elf, so kind of happy with him taking kind of a slower approach. Or maybe it was just a misclick to put the Ink Moth Nexus into play. I don't know, it just seems a little wrong to me to play that, but then again, I haven't played a ton of Infect, so who's to say? Like, the benefit of that is that you get to attack with it this turn, but I don't know. I do know that it's going to be hard for our opponent to get through with Glistener Elf through Young Pyromancer tokens, so there is that. Perfect, draw another land, and there's a path. Yeah, I want to pay some life. Look at this Young Pyromancer. So next turn, we can generate a ton of mana by going Morphos. A ton of tokens by going Morphos, path this, bolt your elf. It's either that or playing the Ascension, but I think I just want to make some tokens to clutter up the ground. Interesting. Aw, man. Okay, that slows our plan way down. But, so I think we just shift to playing the Pyromancer Ascension. Drawing Probe's pretty good there, too. Yeah, we know our opponent's hand is pretty slow right now, so I'm not worried about... Yeah, I forgot to yield. So I'm not too concerned about our opponent just infecting us out of the game the next turn. And so the next turn we can go Manamorphose, get put the requisite amount of quest counters on the Ascension. Okay, so it's another Ink Moth. They drew. Okay. So here, I think I fetch Sacred Foundry, tapped EOT. Or maybe I just path the Spellskite. Or actually, path the Ink Moth Nexus. So he plays Ink Moth, he has Glistener in hand. So we're actually pretty... yeah, let's just go for pathing this right now. We know we're very safe from shenaniganry. Like, we know, I mean, he has the Spellskite, of course. But just forcing him to... Wow, he just F6'd? Okay, I'm fine with that. Well, that just makes our job easier. Well, I guess we just had this line anyways, but... I mean, we know our opponent has nothing, but, you know, I guess we're just technically playing around Spell Pierce. No, we're not. This is just pure showboating. Actually, no. Our opponent has Spell Skite, so we can't actually... So we actually don't have the ability to just bolt him out of the game without putting the counters on. Now that we have the counters on, it's just, you know, each one deals 6, and he can't redirect them enough. So... Okay, scratch what I just said. That's not showboating. This is just the correct play. Same targets. Whoopee! So we can redirect one without paying life to Spellskite, and doing the rest would cost him 10 life. So that would be that. It's like Scape Shift, except instead of mountains we have lightning bolts. Okay, that was kind of silly. So yeah, that wasn't actually showboating. That was the right play. So I love it when showboating and the right play are one and the same. So that was fun. So we're 2-1 right now. We need to win out from here in order to get an invite to the PTQ final. If we win one more match, then we break even, get a neat little treasure chest. So yeah, see you guys in the next round.